What's going on, guys? Jacoborth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas, coming to you guys with some news that's happened recently here towards the end of the month of May and going to the summertime. Some of you may have heard about it or read about it or seen in major news outlets like CNN and some other ones that have covered this topic, where there's a possibility of a strike happening here in Las Vegas, right here on the Strip. There's a potential for about 50,000 casino employees to go on strike. There are hotel workers, a lot of food workers, people in the culinary union. There's about 34 properties I've read that could be affected by this. A lot of them, of course, MGM and Caesars properties, which those two companies make up the bulk of the properties here along Las Vegas Boulevard. So it's interesting to see that there's this potential for a strike to come, a worker strike to come here in Las Vegas. And these have happened before in Las Vegas. I think the last one was 2002, where there was going to be a strike, but they reached the union and the hotels reached an agreement before then. I think the last one where they actually held out for a long time, I think it ended up going like 67 days is what I read in one article, and that was bad for the area, just because for 67 days it costs over $1 million a day, is what I read, in wages and lost revenue, wages for the workers and lost revenue for the hotels. So I mean, that's, we're talking tens of millions of dollars lost during that last strike. So there's potential for another strike now. And what the people in the unions want, of course, they want better wages, say they want a better wage. They want also protection. This is what I'm going to talk about in a second again. Protection against technological advancement, and also stronger language in the workplace against sexual harassment is another topic that's come up. The one that caught my eye the most was probably the one about protection against technology and technological advancement. Just because that reminds me of the battle that the taxi companies were facing several years ago against Uber and Lyft, right? The taxi companies did everything they could for a long time to keep Uber and Lyft out of Nevada, to keep them out of the Vegas area, keep them out of Clark County, but they eventually lost that fight. And as someone who did their undergraduate degree and their master's degree in Silicon Valley, I can tell you that technology is a very, very, very tough force to fight. And now it's creeping into the hotels even more and more with things, like self-check-in kiosks. There's even things now where they have machines that can, be bartenders, that can be servers, they can deliver your food to you. There's restaurants now that don't even have waiters in them anymore. We said, bartenders are ones where there's places that can serve drinks without even having a bartender do it. I've seen talks about the idea of having even like car dealers, table dealers, being like just having a robot do that. I mean, automation is very, very big, and it's very, very real, and it's impacting a lot of people, and technology is not going to slow down anytime soon. So that was one I thought was the most interesting, was trying to get the protection from technological advancements, because that's going to be a really, really difficult battle to fight for these employees of these casinos. And this comes at such an interesting time. This potential strike comes at an interesting time for a couple of reasons. One, because the Las Vegas Golden Knights, right, being in the Stanley Cup Finals, right, so they're coming here, they're going to have the Stanley Cup Finals. That's going to be going on, and you have all these people threatening to go on strike, losing tens of thousands of employees to work, and so the Golden Knights going into the finals, that's one thing that hurts, or that would be a serious impact in a negative way to this area. Then also you have summer pretty much right around the corner. Some schools are already out, so you have some people with their families already going on vacation. You're going to have more as July goes on. I'd say about second, third week of July. I see pretty much most of the schools across the country, they're doing the traditional school calendar. They're out for the summertime. So, late May to about late July, or late June, excuse me, is when you have the most people, with their students or their kids getting out of school. So you have lots of college kids coming. They come for the summers, the day clubs, the pool parties, that kind of thing. You have lots of families who come even with their young kids to do family activities. So you have, the Golden Knights in the playoffs. You have summer right around the corner, which will have a lot more people coming here to town in that time, particularly families and college-age students. And then the third thing is we have a low unemployment rate in Nevada right now. Our unemployment in Nevada has been doing well over the years. I've done other videos about this in the past. I'll link up at least one of them up here, where I've talked about the unemployment in recent years here, and how it's it's kind of started to go down year after year in this area, and it's just it's done better and better just from a few years ago. So I'll link the video for a few years ago. You can see how it's then compared to how it is now. So if they go on, because if that's important, because if they go on strike now, if the employees go on strike now, you have a low unemployment, so you don't have that many people to choose from to try to fill those gaps. You know, one article I read said they might try to bring people from outside the area to fill in the gaps. You know, then, you know, just try to get what you can locally. But with the unemployment rate being so low, there's not nearly as much supply in the labor force right now as for these casinos. So, you know, the casinos are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place in this situation with the timing of it, just the way it worked out with the union contract expiring May 31st. So it's kind of interesting to see how this panned out, where, you know, it seems like the casinos are not in the greatest spot, I would say, you know, to really hold out, you know, like they have done in the past. So we'll see what happens. I want you guys to tell me if you think a strike is going to happen or not. I've talked to a few people that are union employees here on the Strip, and it says only a handful, so take it, you know, with a grain of salt, but they all said the same thing. They do not think it's going to happen. You know, the strike could begin June 1st, but they've all said they do not think it's going to happen. They think the casinos and hotels know they would lose too much. It would be way too much of a hassle. It would not be worth the fight. So they don't expect it to happen, these few employees I talked to. But tell me what you guys think. You know, do you guys think it's going to happen? Do you guys think it's not going to happen? Do you think, you know, the Vegas hotels and casinos need this? I know a lot of people were pissed off. I did the video the other day, I'll link it up here as well, about a Vegas vacation being too expensive. A lot of people were mad about the parking, about the charge for parking, the resort fees going up and all that kind of stuff. So some people might, you know, from a distance be happy to see a strike in Las Vegas from these casinos. You know, tell me what you guys think about it. You know, I want to see this town do well, so, you know, I'm not too big on wanting to see a strike take place. I want, you know, tourists to keep coming, people to keep enjoying themselves, to keep coming back to Vegas. But tell me what you guys think. Will the strike happen? Will it not? You know, what's going to happen here? What do you guys think about, you know, just the unions having to always negotiate with the casinos every so often to try to get better deals for the employees? I want to hear what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel for more awesome videos in the future. I'm Jacob. This is My Life in Vegas.